hey, that's not me. So don't get it confused. I'm not going to spam you and try to hustle you and sell you on products that don't work. It's not what I do. I'm already throwing shade. So let's get into it, family. We're going to get into it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Now, you all know, and I try to sound somber because everybody, if you get loud, people say, Yvette was disrespectful. So I'm going to try. Let me make sure I get this set up. Make sure I have my phone on silent for 1 second. Hate when somebody will call you and you're in the middle of something. That's how people do, though. So I got to make sure. Anyway, Dr. Claud Anderson had an interview with the Breakfast Club. And he said some things that were very disrespectful of the rest of us. That's the only way I can put it. Of ADOS. What we've done, what we accomplished. He said the people who are in charge of, the people who are fighting for reparations right now don't know what we're doing. You know, we're backwards and we're all sorts of things. So I want to anchor the conversation in that. Because I want to anchor the conversation in the fact that I'm not a child. Claud Anderson is 85. Dr. Claud Anderson is 85. Because I know if I don't put the doctor, somebody's going to be in the comments. Well, at one point in the commentary, you left the doc off his name. You tried to be disrespectful. No, I'm going to put it on there. I'm not going to give you any excuses to be stupid today. Because I know you're looking for them. So, none of us are children. Dr. Claud Anderson said he's 85. I am 44. I think Antonio just turned 40. So let me just anchor the conversation in the fact that I am a middle-aged woman. You may be an elderly man, an old man, but I am a woman. You don't get to talk to me like I'm a child. You don't get to be disrespectful. I just want everybody to understand that respect goes both ways. I think we have to get out of, and this is a great conversation to do it, to get out of this mode where we allow people who are geriatric to actually say you can't talk because you're not as old as me. So we have to be perpetual children all of our lives because we're never going to be as old as you. Even if we're smarter than you, even if we know more than you, we're never going to be older than you. So that's kind of a trick that you use to keep us in the perpetual kind of, adolescence to where we can't talk and we can't disagree. Where you can be disrespectful to us as if we're like a little kid on your lawn, but we can't say anything. So when you consider Dr. Claud Anderson is 85, I want you to consider that he's not a boomer. He is a member of what you call the silent generation. Now, I want you, as we go along with this conversation, I want you to understand what that means. What that means is that he saw everything. You had a lens that goes way back. And you saw a bunch of opportunities and had opportunities that we didn't have. See, what we like to do a lot of the times, or at least some of the times, is that we like to do something very kind of specific, right? We like to come into something. I don't know what I had the alarm set for, but we like to come into something in a very specific way, and we don't see the lens. So we'll come into something and not see the lens of, well, timing, and this was his timing and what he's lived through versus us. We'll be just like, well, today. Put a pin in that because I'm going to come back to it, and it's going to be important in the context of the conversation that we're having about Dr. Claud Anderson on the Breakfast Club. So just keep that in mind. Just keep it in mind. Now, another thing I want you to keep in mind is that this book is old. Dr. Claud Anderson called this a framework for 2005. This Powernomics book he's talking about is now 2019, right? So I have the opportunity and I get to criticize you just because you're an elderly person or an old person doesn't mean you're an elder. They're different things. I know Tariq Nasheed used, when I said that, he used it, how he's kind of just built his whole shtick that he's doing right now around ADOS and what we're doing. So I said it, he said, I said stand on your square, he said it. Like he's kind of built that whole vernacular around me because he doesn't have content. Oh, threw more shade coming. So let's go back to Dr. Claud Anderson for a second. Let's go back to him just for a second. And he called us backwards and said the people who are doing reparations don't know what they're doing. Now I just want to put that out there for everybody. The people who are doing reparations work right now don't know what we're doing. I want to say this quickly. And I want to say this to everybody in this space. Everybody's got to stop letting people put batteries in their back. No face, I'm talking to you. You let Tariq put a battery in your back. Boyce let Tariq put a battery in his back. Then Boyce put a battery in Dr. Claud Anderson's back. Well, he said. Don't know what they doing, and they to do it differently. Y'all got to stop that, because you're going to get yourself in a world of trouble that you can't deal with by letting other people put batteries in your back when you should just not be the Energizer Bunny today. So let's go to what I was just talking about. Let's talk about the batteries. Let's talk about the batteries in the back. Dr. Claud Anderson said the work that's being done. I want to just slow down and make sure we understand what's going on. He said the work that's being done today is based on his books. He said everything that's being done today is being done wrong, but it's based on him. Being respectful. I'm just adding criticism. Don't cry in my comments. Please don't cry in my mentions. Show some internal fortitude. This is just criticism. But here is the problem, right? Well, one of the problems is that, like I said, Powernomics wasn't even designed for 2019. Sir, you didn't design anything. You see right there where it says the Powernomics vision is a Black America that is politically and economically self-sufficient and competitive by the year 2005. You didn't even design a thing. You didn't design a thing for 2019. And that is apparent, sir. That is apparent in the conversation that you're having. That the thing that you built is not for today. It is not for the era that we are in right now. It's apparent to me, and it's apparent to everybody that's paying attention. Okay? I want to say the second thing really quickly. Really quickly. You said in your interview, sir, that we should be anchored. You said in the Breakfast Club interview, Dr. Claud Anderson, that we should be anchored in the thing that matters, which is color. If you had been paying attention to us and not Dr. Boyce Watkins, who put that battery in your back, you would know that we have never been anchored in color, because it doesn't make sense to be anchored in color. That's that people of color stuff that you say you don't agree with until you go and say something that contradicts you. You're contradicting yourself in that interview by saying we should be anchored in color, sir. You're contradicting yourself. I don't need to do anything. You're doing it all for me. Powernomics was published in 2000. That's 20 years ago. Why didn't you keep doing work? Why didn't you keep building and making this something that we can actually apply in 2019? Why did you stop? And then come up here and claim something because some people wanted to be anti-ADOS and claim you as their ideological godfather and their political godfather, when really they just don't want to follow us, so they gotta follow somebody else. They weren't mentioning you 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But Africa Town, which you were involved with and which was a failure, that's not who we are. That's not what we're anchored in. So you have to stop saying that we're anchored in your work. We don't have anything. We don't know anything about no Africa Town. And we have said that we are anchored in a lineage that dates back to slavery and is disadvantaged and is accrued slavery and accrued disadvantage. And we can draw a line. That's what we have said. You're being very sloppy in your work. And let's just talk a little bit about what Africa Town was supposed to be before we go on. Claud Anderson, author and promoter of programs to empower Black Americans, this was in 2005, plans a $43 million industrial park on Detroit's near west side to include a 250 square foot plant and later more than a dozen small factories. Anderson's company, Maroon City Development Company, won approval for the project December 13th from the Detroit Economic Development Corp. Mind you, again, that's 2005. That's 2005. I want you to understand that. And let me just, I'm going to the comments as I go. Somebody in the comments said, you need to just let Dr. Anderson do his work and you do yours. Don't call us backward. Don't say we're anchored in you. Don't say we're doing it all wrong. If this man can throw shade and he can talk about us, we have a right to respond. Some of y'all got to stop being cowards. And the person who just put that comment in there, you're a coward. Like, go do some FBA stuff. It's just culture. And y'all just going to laugh and do docs. Like, go do that. You shouldn't be here. You don't have the internal fortitude to be here. And I don't care about any of this other stuff. It's too much weakness going on. It's too many people who want to, but I don't want to put my head up. I just think you ought to do this and you ought to just do that. I don't want nobody shooting at me. They're going to be talking about me. I'm scared. No, we're not doing that no more. I'm tired of it. Either you're a soldier or you're not. Either you can be on the field of intellectual and political battle or you cannot. If you cannot, now's the best time to walk away. Go watch a documentary. Before you know it, we'll be on Hidden Colors 35. Go do that. Go be that person. I don't think you'll be missed. Let's continue, shall we? Okay. So Africa Town, skin color, that's not our thing. So this idea that we're anchored in you is kind of a problem. It's kind of a problem. But another thing I want people to understand about Dr. Claud Anderson is that when I talked about the silent generation, I told you to put a pin in it. What you have to understand about this man, when I did the thing with the guy who Dr. Boyce Watkins called a billionaire, and we come to find out that he was not a billionaire and he was a hotelier who had all kind of problems and had really been run the gunner. And I said he was light-skinned civil rights. Dr. Claud Anderson is counted that too. You had the right look. You know, colorism is real, and it was especially real during that period. You had all of the advantages. What I just read was them talking about how you had a multi-million-dollar opportunity for business. See, what Dr. Claud Anderson talks about, he talks about doing business, that being the ground floor. And then we move to politics and we buy politicians. And then we move to media and we own media. Speaking of owning media, though, I didn't see you, Claude, when Byron Allen was fighting in that Supreme Court. Like, he's still fighting, but I didn't see you when he showed up. I didn't see you show up at all. I don't see you show up a lot for a lot of stuff that you say we need. But Dr. Anderson talks a lot about that, but he was positioned, attractive, light-skinned guy, worked in government. You were positioned for success, but you didn't succeed. Africa Town didn't succeed. If I'm lying, I'm flying. No, I ain't talking about he's too old. No, we ain't talking about Netta. He's 85. He's been around for 85 years. If you 85, you've been around for 85 years. It's not hard math. Like, you had an opportunity to do all of the stuff that you say. Far beyond, see, you had an opportunity to do all that stuff before the height of income inequality. We have the worst income inequality now than ever. You had an opportunity to do some stuff, you know, during the King era and all of that stuff. You had that opportunity and it didn't happen. And something else happened. So that didn't happen. So what happened? Well, you did it. And then you ended up filing Chapter 7. I'm not going to go through all of this. I've been through this before. I'm so tired of repeating myself. You had to go. Not only did this thing that you had that I would never have access to, the Capitol, to do it, but it went bankrupt. And not only that, but if you go through the video I brought up last time, he been running from this black bank, hiding assets, trying to put them in other people's names, doing all kind of stuff. See, let me help you understand something. Dr. Claud Anderson talks about group economics, and we have to work together, and we have to have a code of conduct, and that's what we have to do. But why are you running from this black bank and moving around assets? Allegedly, that's what it says in the complaint. Why are you doing that? See, a code, group economics doesn't work unless everybody has a certain code of conduct. Unless everybody is like, well, I'm going to pay my debts. I'm going to be here. You were selling cheap tilapia. Don't nobody need your cheap tilapia. America has mastered fish and production. See, you don't understand timing, Dr. Anderson. They already did that. And now they locked it in. So now you trying to compete. It's like somebody putting together a corner store next to Kroger's or next to Ralph's or wherever you live, or Safeway, whatever the grocery store is, and trying to compete. You couldn't compete. You couldn't compete with people who are selling tilapia. What do you know about fisheries? You don't know anything about any of that. And you came and go look at the video. If you get a chance, go look at this video. Let me bring this video up. Just so you see the name of it. Powernomics, Dr. Claud Anderson, Waterland Fisheries. And he'll say, see, the black people, they just didn't buy from me. That's what happened. No. You didn't know the market. You didn't understand the market. You're like, has anybody ever seen those little amber butterflies and they're stuck in time? Like it's like they're beautiful, but they're ornaments or they put bugs in there too. The white people do. They put all kinds of stuff in there, but they're beautiful, but they're stuck in a moment. They're not alive anymore. They're just little butterflies stuck in this amber. That's what we have here. A man who doesn't understand how everything has changed, how wealth is locked in now. Dr. Anderson said, you don't make money from. You only make money from labor. Yeah, that's the way it used to be. You used to have to work. Now people are living off of the inherited money of others. Yes, it came from wealth at one time, but not anymore. You're stuck in a moment that doesn't exist anymore. So you do have a solution, Dr. Anderson. You do. But your solution is for the Jim Crow era. That's what you're nostalgic about. You want to bring Jim Crow back. Well, we had the buses. I don't understand why Martin Luther King just didn't give us the buses. Just didn't build his own buses, because we had buses in Salem where I was. We had all the buses, and people came here and said, we want to ride the front of the bus on the white bus. And I told them, we don't got no white bus. We only got a black bus. And he said, the black people told him, get a white bus so we can get on the front. Ain't nobody told you that, Claude. Ain't nobody told you that. It's like now listen, I have certain problems with how segregation happened and what didn't get redistributed. I have my own problems with like what happened when segregation to integration, how it went and the change that should have been in place. I do, but I understand that we're past that. I understand that I have to deal with the world now as it is, not the world that happened then. And I understand that I wouldn't cheat a black bank. Like I wouldn't run around. If you go read the complaint, you don't have to listen to me. Just go read the whole thing about how it says Claude been running from this. You can't be Claude is caught in the amber. He's a fossil. You a fossil, sir. And you don't understand stuff. So go and read this complaint. He talks about we got to do group people numbers. We got to get in there together. We got to be together. Just go and read all of this. Nothing you got to hear from me about how this man is running, but talking to us about how we got to work together. I would never do business with you. You're gonna leave me with a debt and run off. And there's a lot more, family. Let me see if I can find this next little thing really quickly. Really. Oh, one thing I want to get to too, but I'll get to that in just a second in terms of how he says about buying stuff and all this stuff. I'll get to that in just a second. But let me just say this. He talks about buying politicians. He doesn't understand that we are in a post-Citizens United world. What does that mean, Yvette? I'm going to post. How does that matter, Yvette? How? Yvette, what that mean? We can still buy politicians. You're in a world where one billionaire politician might buy the whole election. Bloomberg might buy everything. He already bought what did he buy? He bought City Lab. And he fired half the people. If I don't like what you're saying, I'm going to buy the paper and I'm going to fire half for you. And get on out. Get gone. I don't want to talk to you. We live in an era where billionaires are fighting for politics. Billionaires are in here fighting. And you're telling us with our 1,700 median. I don't even care if you put all them 1,700 together. And you can't do that because 1,700 median wealth means you don't have anything. You got zero in the bank. But I don't even care. There's no way you finna go compete with Bloomberg. He's about to buy the election, and you talking about we finna buy a politician. Do you understand how far behind, how locked out you are? And we're locked out because while Bloomberg's people, when he came, his people came, whatever, they were able through whiteness to amass wealth and use us as the shoes. So they were able to run around in little black shoes. We were like the commodity. And they were able to use us to build wealth, right? And so what happened from slavery on, other people were able to access wealth and get wealth while we were locked out. It's like a board people played on, like Monopoly, right? But you can't play. You are the tools they use to win Monopoly. You are taken off the board. Once you're taken off the board, you have not amassed that wealth and you cannot compete. And you certainly can't compete with billionaires. You don't understand timing. You don't understand why certain people, if you read that Malcolm Gladwell book, you don't understand why certain people became rich, whether it was Carnegie or JP Morgan around the same time, because they had the same opportunities and they got those opportunities through whiteness. If you don't understand that, then you don't understand America, and there's no way for you to have a plan about what ADOS need to do. And it certainly won't be no Africa town. And the whole thing don't really make no sense. I mean, wasn't your main lawyer on this case a white guy, a white lawyer who you were using? I'm talking about your main counsel, not any extra counsel you might have had. Weren't you using like a white lawyer to try to run away from this black CEO and take your money and hide your, what? Isn't that what's alleged in the paperwork? If I'm wrong, let me know. Weren't you allegedly trying to hide assets using your white attorney, but you're talking about black group economics, right? Wasn't that your lead attorney? Why? Why, Claud? Why? Dr. Anderson, I'm sorry. Why? Why were you doing that? Why were you allegedly doing that? I mean, if we're supposed to be working together, come on. How did it happen that way? How did it go down? Don't trust me. Go look at the paperwork. And understand that the bank did this for Dr. Anderson, and then allegedly he's been shifty. So, and he's allegedly hiding the money, putting it in other, liquidating assets, moving it around. That's the money that you were supposed to pay back so the black bank could give it to somebody else, or loan it to somebody else, and they could do a black business. You're an impediment to black business, running around trying to tell everybody else how to do black business. It's a problem. All of this is very much a problem. Water, land, fisheries. I always talk about, well, they doing it all wrong. Let's talk about your life's work, Dr. Anderson. Like I said, you had all the time and all the space to do it. What do you have? We have made reparations part of the conversation of the Democratic Party. And we've done that in less than 3 years. What has been your contribution, Dr. Anderson, other than this book? That's 20 years, that was written in 2000. What is your legacy? How have you done more than ADOS? I just want to know. I can't figure it out. Batteries in your back. Y'all better stop that. You got Jim Crow solutions. I don't need no Jim Crow solution. I need a solution for 2009. It's almost 2020. I need a solution for now. I don't need a Jim Crow solution. For what? I don't live in Jim Crow. Notice when you go back and watch the Breakfast Club interview. Every time they asked him a specific question, he went back and gave a history lesson. Well, it's like your uncle at the barbershop. Well, when we was young, we used to, and I tell you what, da da da. And ain't nobody fact check none of this stuff he's saying. One man about to buy an election, and you trying to buy one politician, but we doing it wrong. Learn to compete, he says. Wealth creates wealth, Dr. Anderson said. Of course it does. And that's the problem. Wealth was amassed from us and extracted from us. So everybody else has the wealth. Of course it does. How y'all let people, I don't even know what goes on when you let people say stuff that's just common sense and contradictory. And everybody said, well, Yvette, he really do got a point. What? Come on. Make sure I don't miss anything. Anything. I mean, one of the things that you have to come away with, though, is that instead of talking down to us and telling us that we doing it wrong, even though we're doing more than you did and we're moving the needle more than you ever have. Like, I think what the silent generation and the boomers have to do, you have to apologize. And you say that you have to say that we failed you. We didn't get our politics right, because you were around during that time. So if you had a problem with what King did or whoever, you could have had a role in it. Why didn't you become a leader in your own way? Right? I wasn't there. You have to say at a certain point, you know what? We didn't get it right. And we apologize. And we're part of the reason that you're living through what you're living through right now. We messed up. Silent generations, boomer, we apologize. We messed it up. But you won't. Now I want to move on to something else really quickly, because it all intertwines, fam. Everything that we're talking about intertwines. Now, I don't know. I have no idea when Phantom started talking. I have no idea how we thought somehow that we were going. There's nothing wrong with having a documentary, but I don't understand how we thought we were going to solve our political situation or resolve it or push America to do anything on our behalf through documentaries. Those of you who are quote unquote FBA, understand that the flag that you have in your Twitter handle, understand that I gave that to you. I birthed that idea, not your Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed was talking about Haiti and Zimbabwe, and we gonna get it popping over there, and we gonna do some business, and I'm gonna build some houses. Nah, you go back to my page, and I was wrapped in a flag, and I took a lot of flack for it, but I said we're anchored in America. All of this stuff is ADOS. Like, y'all gonna have to figure this whole clone organization that y'all got out, because Tariq Nasheed is out of ideas, and so he has to clone ADOS and mimic me all the time and use it because he doesn't have any kind of fresh idea except for buck breaking or something. And he got a buck breaking doc or something like that coming. You dig? And I want to just say, before we get to the Phantom, I want to just say, if everybody doesn't understand what the end game was, and then it's some of y'all's fault that we here anyway. Everybody in my inbox, Yvette, I know you might not like what Tariq is doing. You might not like him, but please be unified. Please have some unity. Okay, I will do that. I'll do that. And I tried to do that, and look where we are. I'm still fighting off pimps and phantoms. I fight ghosts and shadowbots and fight phantoms and pimps all day. And it's fine, but you got to understand that Tariq is a kid, in the sense of you'll fight him and you'll go back and forth one night, and then the next morning you wake up and he's like the guy. You ever roast with one of your friends, and you have that one friend who you roast back and forth with, and y'all have a sleepover, and the next morning you wake up and the other friend realizes something he didn't say, or he tried to use the same joke over again, and you be like, my dude, we've been through that. You can't like get a do-over. Like, that's what Tariq does. And so that's why I had to that's why I was like, I gotta block this. I gotta block him, because that's who he is. That's what he does. But before I blocked him, I tried to figure something out, but he never would answer the question. He never would answer why he said what he said about single mothers in this video that's up on my page. He never would answer it. He said, no single mothers on that MFer. We can't have that single mother. It's too much bush going on in the hood, and it's single mothers raising big out here, man. You dig? And I kept asking him, like, answer that. Like, you have to speak to that. And people kept telling me, well, Yvette, that's a long time. So I said, okay, let's play a game. I'm gonna put it out there to him, and if he really feels differently now, and it's been a long time ago, I put it out there like 12 times. If he feels differently now than he felt then, he say, you know what? I apologize. I'm different now. That's how I felt then. It was a long time ago. The fact that he didn't say that lets you know what he is. He still thinks, as I suspected, but y'all told me, no. He's trying to do some collective work now, Yvette. You don't understand. You dig? Okay, here we are now. He didn't apologize, so he still believes the same thing. Let me tell you what the end game is. Tariq and Jason Black got the same end game, but it's different in terms of how they play it out. The end game for Tariq is he's going to do this. he already said, now the trigger for you should have been when he said, this is about culture. This is about culture. We don't really do politics over here. I think if we get the culture right, we'll get the politics right. That means he ain't finna do no work. Learn how to read signs and symbols. I'm not finna work. I'm not finna do no political work. I'm finna sit over here in my $2 million house with the marble tables and chill. The other sign, he said, I'm gonna get the money back if I don't reach 200K. Then once he got to like 120, he said, I'm gonna keep it because they've been acting up, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna show them how to do it. You understand? You dig? I'm gonna show them how to do it right, because I didn't expect all the dusties to come out. See what Tariq does too. He's not funny one-on-one like that. Like he has to think of stuff. So he thinks overnight and he comes out with dusty musties or something. He has to think about these little jokes. It's real weird. It's real kid-like. It's kind of like adolescent. But that's who y'all want, a lot of y'all. But you have to see the end game here in terms of where we end at. Where do we end at? Okay, Tariq said, I'm doing culture. Right? So right now, he can't call black women bad wenches. Because if he calls black women bad wenches, it's going to mess up his FBA, which is a clone of ADOS, which is a collective empowerment movement for transformative politics. So he can't call us bad wenches right now. But what he's going to do when the politics don't pop off, because anything good dies in a pimp's hands. Anything good dies in a pimp's hands. So when the politics falls off, he's going to say, well, you know, it didn't work because we still got too many bed wenches. I want y'all to show up and support Buck Breaking Part 5. You dig? We got a lot of white supremacy out here, and the only way you fight that white supremacy is through buck breaking movies. Y'all know we got it. Can y'all donate now? We ought to get to 60,000 by the end of the episode. Can y'all donate to buck breaking number 20, please? Because that's how we gonna fight white supremacy out here. We gonna fight white supremacy by supporting my documentaries. I raised 200,000 a pop. I never get private investors. I never use any of my own money. You dig? I use yours. You dig? But we need this for the culture. Anytime a Negro tell you for the culture, you better squint your eye and watch your pocket, because he in it. Just do it for the culture, which means you don't get paid. You just make a contribution to me and my lifestyle, my marble tables. And I'm not giving the money back. I know I said I was if I didn't hit it. And you know Tariq has been weakened because he normally hits all of his targets. Now he's having a problem. But let's go to Jason Black too, because we got a lot of stuff going on in the community. A lot of stuff going on. Oh, y'all got me talking like a pimp. A lot of stuff going on in the community, you dig? Now this man has said a lot of wild stuff. You know, just stuff don't make no sense. A man whose mom was fat is likely to say fat women are sexy. Why do y'all follow people like this? I just want somebody to tell me. I want somebody to tell me why you will follow No Face. What is going on? This man won't even show his face. This man won't even show his face. He just like Tariq. He just like Tariq in this other video where Tariq called out single moms and said we can't have no single mom. How many of us, you know, I was lucky to have a 2-parent household, but how many of us had like single moms? And like he's spouting, like I don't think you all understand that he's spouting conservative rhetoric. This is Reagan-esque with the welfare queens, and then he says something stupid about we just gonna give them a plot of land and what? Well, what you gonna do with the plot of land? They can't squander that. That's somehow something you can really hold on to. And so your boy Jason Black ain't that much different. Your boy Jason Black ain't that much different. He says a bunch of stuff just to get people riled up, but he's unhappy. First of all, he's unhappy I remember when he went in on Antonio, and I think he's just jealous about Antonio going to law school because he had this little sour face note. I wish I had the time, go to law school. So much of the problem we have in black society stems from fat people that mess with us, make the assumption no one is going to sue them for doing illegal things to us. I wish I had the time. Child. But then you have him saying like voting is worthless. Right? So wait a minute. How is somebody going to lead a political? I'm not saying that voting. We've always talked about the role that voting plays and how voting is an exchange. It's not a gift. And we talk about everything that happens before voting. But you have somebody here who's telling you voting is worthless. Right? Voting is worthless. They don't have the population numbers to make voting work for them, but they do have an agenda. Let me just tell you, Those of you who follow the news, you know that Asians are working hard against affirmative action, and they're doing it politically, especially Chinese Americans. Some people just say stuff. And I was talking about this last year while he was going around talking about a whole bunch of nothing. But they do have an agenda, and they put that together with socioeconomic clout, and that beats voting every time. Black people have the population numbers, but we lack an agenda. Thus, we vote for no reason because. But you just said we vote for no reason. Then you said it's worthless. Which is it? Do we have to have an agenda to vote? I totally agree with having an agenda to vote, but you said it's worthless. You can't even be consistent in what you write. Who is this person? Show your face. Can anyone name the victories over white supremacy the civil rights generation won? Let me just say this. And I want to say it so I'm clear, right? Because we just had Tariq Nasheed say that single black moms shouldn't get reparations. It got to go to a male-led household. That's what Tariq Nasheed said. I want to let you know how offensive and divisive these people are. You have Tariq Nasheed saying that black single mother households can't get reparations. It only has to be a black-led household, and it can't be money. It's got to be a plot of land. That's just, when the person says that, you just know they're an idiot. Okay, you got Jason Black over here saying the civil rights movement didn't do anything. Now, I want you to compare those things, though. Sometimes we just go to the civil rights movement and talk about what it did or didn't do. No, compare two things for me. Compare a man who doesn't show his face with the man who took a bullet to the face. MLK died for the cause. Whether or not we can disagree, but he died for the cause. Now you have a coward over here who won't even show you his face. Not only that, you want to tell me that I can't criticize Dr. Claud Anderson, but you can criticize a man who died for the movement. Y'all don't have no problem calling Dr. King trash and saying all kind of stuff. But oh my God, when you bring up Dr. Claud Anderson's name, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I can't believe you brought up, he's an elder. This man died for the cause, and you won't even show your face. You got a picture of you everywhere with sunglasses on, looking like this. Oh, you Pink Panther, you little slick Negro. You show your face. I don't know how people let you be in this space, Jason Black, without ever showing your face. How can you lead people? And then this man will say, well, that's why I have to move in darkness because I have to lead and we can't be a leader. If I'm here, nobody see me. I can hide because I'm Jason Black. The government sees you. The government sees all of us if they want to. You're not hiding from the government, Jason Black. You're hiding from black people. Because for you, this is a con. It's a way to make money and sell documentaries. But you don't want anybody to see your face because what happens if you can't make any money anymore? You want to be able to walk away from this with nobody ever having seen your face. So you walk away with the bag and and we never see you again. I don't even know if you're black. How do I know? How do I know that you're black? How do I know what you know? You said Antonio don't practice law. He does. You said that Antonio doesn't have a law license. He does. Everything you said about Antonio was wrong. So why should I trust anything you say? And why is your whole thing built around undermining Antonio when we don't even know what you look like? You could look like the bottom of my shoe. We don't know. We don't know whether or not you're a black man or you have perfected the black affectation like that little man who was the DJ in LA did. We don't know, and we deserve to know. You acting like you leading people. Show your face. I don't know why anybody would listen to this little man if he won't show his face. For all I know, sometimes you sound like a little white man, but I understand they got this picture of this man with a Kangol and glasses on. For all I know, you hired that little man. Because if I was a white person and I wanted to put a black person up to something and I wanted people to think I was black, I would say, hey, you go out there and you kind of whisper when you talk to people, I'm Jason Black. I don't want nobody to know. And people be like, oh, he just changed his voice for the show. You, Jason Black, Black Truth, all them no-face people is you. No face, phantom, ghost, apparition. Oh, so tired of you. Why do you have a problem? What's wrong with you? You say all kind of stuff too. Let me find something else idiotic he said. Because he say so much. And he used to, he saluted Antonio's doc, freeway, Rick Ross cracking this until he found out it was Antonio's. And then all of a sudden, because it was Antonio's, he wanted to tear it down. But this is the person that says we have to move as a group and we have to have group economics and we have to have this. I'm tired of phantasms. Show your face. I don't see. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what's going on. People don't want to show their face. People want to have empowerment through documentaries. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is supposed to be. And I don't even know, even when we talk about Dr. Claud Anderson. Like, let's go back to him for just a second. When we talk about economies, we use the work of economists. We talk about Dr. Sandy Darity a lot. We talk about historians sometimes too, when we're talking about history, and we give stuff context, right? Have to have some meat on the bone. Like, I don't even know what we're talking about sometimes when we talk about your PhD is in education. It's just like I saw somebody called Dr. Boyce Watkins, an economist, and he went along with it. No, you're a finance professor. You're not an economist. Everybody got to stop trying to slick in different categories too. You got to stop trying to slick in different categories. Be who you are. Don't take on some skills you don't have. You got your PhD from Wayne State in education. That's who you are. In terms of economics, I prefer Darity, Dr. Darity, because he has an economics PhD from Duke. That's just different. That's who. It's your stuff is education. Go do your education stuff. If you want to build a syllabus or a criteria, maybe you should work with Dr. Umar Johnson. I know he's having some struggles with his school. I don't understand what we're doing. I don't think you know enough to be in the space and do what you're trying to do right now. I don't know. I don't think so. Don't look like it. And economics, now Dr. Darity, that economics PhD that he has is from MIT, not Wayne State. But see, we're in this space where, like, an education PhD from Wayne State is supposed to be, weighted more than a PhD in economics from MIT. But I think expertise should matter in this space. Dr. Watkins has a PhD in finance. I think you're great at counting. That's how you count a lot of us who have worked with you and for you out of our money. You're good at that. I wouldn't take that away from you. But in terms of understanding how economies work and how wealth calcifies and moves within an economy, you have no expertise either. See, and people will say, well, Yvette, are you an economist? But when you're not a thing, you have to defer to their expertise. That's why we use Darity and others who are economists. If I need history, I find a historian. I don't find an education PhD. Now, if I want to talk about education or how best to educate kids and black kids in schools or whatever, I find you. It's not what we are. MIT is one of the best schools in America. Top tier. Dr. Darity's black. You know what that means? Like, we got to start giving people their due. It's a problem that we don't. It's a real, real problem. And then the last thing, this may or may not be the last thing, because I got a lot to say. But we got to stop pushing this claim too. I heard him say, Dr. Claud Anderson, during the Breakfast Club interview that, how many times a dollar stays in the black community versus the Jewish community, and we just got to do better at keeping money in our community. Now, that's already a problematic way of thinking, because our community isn't black. That's how it was in Jim Crow. If you were going to keep something in your community, that means you were going to buy from black people. Again, you're a fossil. You're stuck in a period that doesn't exist anymore. So, no, now, since wealth is calcified, there's a Kroger over here, right? Or Publix over here. So you can spend money in your community and still not be spending with black people, but you don't know, you stuck in a period. You stuck in this Jim Crow mindset, and it's not Jim Crow no more. Regardless of what happened and what you would have liked to have happened and what other people, that's not what we are. So in terms of the dollar circulating, there's no evidence to that. Like the claim that a dollar, and this is from Howard University, the claim that a dollar circulates in the black community for only 6 hours cannot be substantiated. The federal government does not produce data that would allow such a comparison. In addition, economists contradicted by Truth Be Told News, that was Howard's little thing to research stuff, said some of the data cited, such as information about dollars circulating in the Jewish community, is questionable because the federal government does not collect information by religion. And researchers would be unable to get the information accurately from a survey. So what they're basically telling you is that all this time you've been walking around and you've been saying a thing. You've been letting somebody say, man, we got to do like that other group. We got to do like them. They dollar circulate they dollar bump 8 times before it leave their community. Our dollar don't do before. People been saying this for 20 or 30 years. And what does it say about us that we never challenged them? We never said, where did you get that piece of information? Where does that come from? You saw that. You saw Claud. You saw him on the Breakfast Club, and nobody said, okay, where does that come from? Can you give me a citation? See, start saying that when people say stuff to you. What's this? Can you give me a citation? What is that? Where does that come from? What study? Or does it come from the Federal Reserve? Or does it come from a specific institution? Give me a citation, please. Don't just talk to me. How do we let something go for 20, 30 years, if not longer, without having some type of citation? Some type of citation. You know, when we go to the fish market, what Dr. Claud Anderson failed at, group economics. When he sold the equipment, he was allegedly moving assets that were not his after bankruptcy to other people, allegedly family members. And he made this black bank CEO go to a deposition. I just don't understand. That sounds like a destroyer of black economics, rather than somebody who does black economics. Doesn't sound like somebody I would want to do black economics with. If I can't trust you, if your business goes bust, if I can't trust you to make good on the loan and you start moving stuff around, allegedly, that's what the complaint said. And you should have to answer for that. This is not me being mean or negative or being disrespectful. How do we let a man go on a show and talk about economics and tell all of us what we need to do, and we haven't made him answer for what exactly happened? See, you couldn't go on CNBC like you go on the Breakfast Club and start talking. They would be like, what happened here? And tell us what happened here. And they will be trying to cross you up, and they will have all the documents. We just let people run around and talk. We let pimps talk. We let phantoms talk. We let ghosts talk. We let anybody who run around and talk, run around and talk. We don't care. And then we wonder why we can't get no good politics. Then Jason Black has some stupid stuff. The phantom of the internet. That's what I call it, the phantom of the internet. Has some stupid stuff about Darity. Dr. Darity. Oh, he said it was about everybody. Now, let me just show you how stupid this is. You have not, Phantom, you haven't built anything, you haven't done anything, but hold on, we, ADOS, built this whole reparations thing, this whole movement, and this black agenda. Then you finally read the report and you say, oh, that ain't good enough. That's like building a house and then somebody comes in from out of the cold and says, well, I don't understand why you ain't got no chandeliers. I don't like a room with like no chandeliers. I don't know. You didn't go far enough. What did you do? You haven't done anything. No face. So Dr. Darity says definitely not wanting to bastardize either project. He was talking about baby bonds. He was talking about reparations. Both of which I support as compliments. Too many voices on Twitter to view baby bonds as a substitute for reparations. That's my concern. He said that a while ago. He said that he's always said that baby bonds are not a substitute for reparations. He's always said that. I don't even understand what the phantom be doing. Baby bonds are not literally a bond. They are publicly funded trust accounts, and they will not close the racial wealth gap by themselves. Not a substitute for reparations. So what are y'all talking about? What is the phantom saying? And this is from today. From Darity. I must add, given further developments in this conversation, I completely reject the view that black cultural or black behavioral dysfunction is the cause of vast economic inequalities we experience, particularly the black-white wealth disparity. Yeah, because you got people over there. You got people over there like child No Face and Tariq saying we just got to change the culture. People change a lot. They call the Breakfast Club fake news, and before that they was trying to get an ad on the Breakfast Club. It was a lot of stuff going on, wasn't it? But now he fighting for reparations. He working on it. He ain't got no face. You can't see him. He don't be on no calls. But he don't show himself. But he working on it. He gonna want credit for it. But I thought we don't have no leaders. You setting yourself up to take credit for something, Phantasm. Oh, these people are so annoying. Show your face. But then he says reparations, and he goes right back to this do for self stuff. See, y'all some lying liars. You talk about reparations, and then you go right back to do for self. Wait a minute. Poor people stay poor because they spend the money that would make them rich on consumer goods to comfort them in their stagnation. If that were the truth, no face, if that's the truth, then that means that we shouldn't get reparations. If the only reason that we don't have no monies is because, or no any wealth, is because we just spend money on the wrong thing, then we don't need reparations. You just undermine your own argument. You know why? Because it's never been your argument. You're riding a wave. You're riding the ADOS wave, and it's time to get off the train, especially if you're not going to show your face, Phantasm. This is what you really believe. Just like Tariq really believed that black women shouldn't get nothing. Black single moms shouldn't get anything. Get reparations. It has to be a man in the house, and you get a plot of land off somewhere. Imagine that. You know, if I was a black lawmaker, a white lawmaker, if I was a white supremacist lawmaker, I'd do that junk. I'd just give a little plot of land to some man or something. That's what you would do. I'd cut a bunch of people out. Think about how many people you would cut out if you cut out single black women. Think about how many single black mothers. Think about how many people you would cut out. And this is who you follow though. I can't help it. Like the only thing I can say, and No Face did a whole release, with his thing or whatever he was. Listen, the only thing I can say to everybody is that with this world we live in, you're going to get the politics you deserve. There's no way around it. And so what's going to happen, I'm trying to put it in a certain way and trying to help people to understand what's going to happen. But you get the politics you deserve. So if you keep Tariq and you keep No Face, you're going to get that politics, which means no politics. Because their thing that they're doing is about a hustle. It's not about politics. It's about the next documentary. It's about we're gonna do a conference. The conference is not gonna be politics, because Tariq said Nasheed said he don't do politics, right? So that means you're gonna basically have a meet and greet / networking conference with no expectations of, like when Antonio and I did the ADOS conference. The next step in that was Project Takeover, right? This is how we're going to move, and we're going to have to assess the effectiveness of it and everything. So you're going to hold me accountable on that, and we're going to decide what the agenda is going to be. There's a whole body of work that is entailed in doing that. That's different than somebody giving you a network conference and charging you to take pictures with them. How many people were at the ADOS conference? Did I charge anybody to take a picture with me? Did Antonio? No, we're family. We mean it. We don't call you family. Please donate to the buck breaking conference. We don't call you fam and then charge you to take a picture or charge you to sit up front or no, that's not a family. That means you're using me. That's different. Either we're a family or we're not. I'm not charging you for that. And I don't know how y'all let a pimp charge y'all for nothing. I don't even know how you let a pimp charge you for something like that. This is a pimp / comedian, and who's not really funny, who just had to think about stuff overnight and be like, yeah, I got a new slang, dusty musty. I'm gonna call him. I've been thinking about this for a while. That's one thing I figured out last night when we were going back and forth. Like, you can't think of stuff real good on the fly. And then you just say, I won. You just mad. You just took a L. Nobody took a L. You just say stuff. And then people who follow you this like mindless hive you have, like, yeah, Tariq, she took a L. What is wrong with y'all? But you get the politics. Everybody's going to get the politics they deserve. So if you choose to go with Tariq, the only thing he's going to tell you is don't vote. And the white supremacist society and the white society don't do this. And the black society do that. He's going to be talking about this till he's gray-headed. Living a good life. But how is your life? Tariq is not your older brother. He's not your daddy. How is your life? How is the life of your kids? Your parents, your uncle, your niece, your nephew? What are you going through? Because Tariq done told you he live in a $2 million house with marble tables. He done told you that. He done told you he don't need your money, except he's still going to keep it. He told you all of that. How is your life? And why do you keep taking money out of your pocket to give it to a man who says, I'm not going to do politics, I'm going to do culture? Fam, we don't need culture. The reason people go to Capitol Hill, because that's where the money's at. The same reason say he robbed banks. He said that's where the money is. The money's on Capitol Hill. That's why you do politics. Their whole budgets, those budgets and those rights, the budgets and the rights that they afford, all of those things determine outcome. Tariq Nasheed does not determine anybody's outcome but his own. So I think the question becomes, how long as a community are we going to allow ourselves to be fleeced? Are we going to get together and do politics together as a collective and force politicians and tell politicians you're not going to get elected unless you give us what we want, unless we get our agenda, or we are going to let people to finesse us with documentaries? How long are you going to do that? Nothing wrong with a documentary, but a documentary is not politics. At a certain point, you have to, if you're going to say you're going to change somebody's life, you have to do it. You can't say you're just going to change the culture and everything's going to come along with the culture. No, that's just a way for you not to hold yourself and no face accountable. And that's why everybody's coming at me, especially me and Antonio, but that's why you're coming at me, because you don't like it. You don't like it. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Y'all let a pimp attack single black mothers. And that's who you follow. And let me just say this.